Did you deal with like trafficking and prostitution too, or was it mainly drugs?
No, it was mainly drugs. We did a little bit of prostitution stings, but they were always kind of like low level. And most of the time when we did a prostitution sting, we wound up like arresting people that we didn't want to. And so like politicians,
pastors.
I mean, we caught a, I'm not going to throw him under the bus, but we caught one of our own, and it's like, whoo, like, man. And I remember like I was trying to shake down the girl that came over, and she was like, yeah, I got this guy. And the phone number was one of our department issue phone numbers. I was like, hey boss, here you go. This yours now. I'm out. Like, and yeah. And so, so that's about as far as I got into that. But yeah, in the summer of 2016, we wound up separating, and I didn't see it coming. I just thought I was doing like the best thing. And that's, from a trauma standpoint, like there's a 66% divorce rate in law enforcement, which is its own crisis in and of itself. I mean, the national average is less than 10. Maybe like it's climbed up since I last looked at that stat, but like we're 50% more likely to go through a divorce. And that's a shame, man. Like you're breaking down the familial bond. And what people don't understand, like we raise our right hand, we understand chaos when we go to work, but when chaos happens at home, you're hypervigilant the entire time. And there is no break right up here. And, because you finish up work, chaos there, right? Traumatic there. And then you come home and you're fighting a brand new battle. You're fighting the battle of like, all right, we're not compatible right now. And what do? You run to alcohol, you run to the gym, you run to some other type of thing that you can put your all into. And that's a problem for us. There is no break for us. And
so now I want to get into the book and where that all started. So your book, and I love the name of the book. To me, that sounds like a good album. You know what I'm saying? Like that would be like, that's a good album name right there. Like it hits and it's powerful.
Thank you.
So can we get into a little?
Yeah. So divorce happened. I take responsibility for that. March 9th, my divorce was finalized on January 5th. And when we first split up, I was homeless. I didn't really have like a place to go. So they had frozen my bank accounts because my wife was a stay-at-home mom. So they froze all my bank accounts. So I didn't have anywhere to go. And so I wound up sleeping in my car for a little bit. So like there was just highs and lows, but a lot more lows at this point. So January 5th, my divorce gets finalized. March 9th would have been my 15-year wedding anniversary. And so my boss, I had a prostitution sting going on that day. And so like we're briefing it up. It's just a low level, like, we just had a Craigslist ad and we were gonna have people come in. But somebody knocks on the door and they're like, hey man, Brian wants to see you. And I'm like, dang. So I go down the office, and again, there's a lot of trauma going on in my home life. And so I knock on the door, and I didn't know what he wanted. I didn't know if, something's going on. I didn't know if like my ex had called in, we've been arguing and fighting and whatnot. So, you always think the worst. And so like I knock on the door, I was like, hey man, what's going on? And he's like, have a seat. And like anytime the chief tells you have a seat, bro, you're like, I was internally freaking out. Like, what is going on right now? Like, I need you to tell me what's going on. And he looked at me, he said, are you okay? I said, yeah. He said, you know what today is, right? Referring to what would have been my 15th wedding anniversary. And I said, yeah. I said, I'm straight, man. He goes, well, you got a lot of people out here that are relying on you to make good, critical decisions. And I just want to make sure that you're mentally prepared, because if you're not mentally prepared, you're not physically ready. He said, you tell me, and I'll comp you out for the day and have somebody else lead the operation. And I looked at him. I said, man, I'm straight, bro. I'm good. And what I didn't say was, are you okay? What I didn't say was, when we get done with this operation, I know today is a bad day for you. Let's go chop it up, man. Let's go have a cold beer together. And 2 hours later, he went home and shot and killed himself. And I was the last one to talk to him. And man, when I tell you my world fell apart with that, and he was everything to me, man. He was like 5'8", like 240, nothing but muscle, cauliflower ear. Man, he was just a bad dude, man. He was the definition of strength, definition of stoic strength. And when he took his life, all of a sudden, man, it was like everybody always told me suicide's weak. Like, you can't let go of that. Like, it's just, that's a weak way out. But at this point, like when Brian had taken his life, all of a sudden it made sense to me. And when I say it made sense, it was a trauma talk. It wasn't the good talk. It was a trauma talk. And it was saying, it's not suicide, it's a sacrifice. And all of a sudden that sacrifice word kept popping in my head. Sacrifice yourself. And so that whole next week, from March 10th until March 17th, I started making preparations to leave this world. And on March 17th, I woke up on a Saturday morning and I said, all right,